Hva vel bedre I disse gode fortsettertider enn konkrete råd om hvordan gjøre 2012 til ditt beste år? Så jeg har fått med meg ingen ringere enn den internasjonale supercoachen og bestselgeren Judymay til å hjelpe oss. Welcome to you, Judymay.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you because how to make 2012 your best year ever. Please let us know.
Well, the first thing is that a lot of people just expect that somehow they're going to be reacting to things that happen to them during the year and they're going to be coping, and maybe there'll be a little bit of time for maybe losing a bit of weight, perhaps earning a little bit more money. And what I want people to know is, and I do this with thousands of people all around the world, that you can design it so that your life is not just a tiny bit better, but way better than any other year. And now is the time to do it because, you know, it's the beginning of the year and we're all really excited about making those big changes.
Exactly, we've got the inspiration now. So what steps do we have to take?
The first thing is you have to dream really big. Sometimes people are a little bit careful, and I've noticed in Norway, you know, people are very steady and they're very cautious, and that's a very good thing. It gives some beautiful results. However, if you're like that the whole time, it means that sometimes you're missing out on the bigger things, on the big, passionate, exciting, big super changes that can happen in your life. So the key is to say to yourself, right, no, not thinking about how I'm going to do it, not thinking about if it's possible, but just thinking about what would I love to have happen.
Exactly.
What is that? And if the answer is, I would love to take a year out and travel the world, make sure that you don't close it down, that you don't say, oh, but I can't because we've got the kids, but that you leave it on the table. So you say to yourself, right, just this is my goal, this is what I want to have happen. And then start to say, you know, if it has to happen, what am I going to do?
Exactly, and that's where maybe quite a few people feel that it's a bit daunting, it's a bit much, and then they think, oh my goodness, where am I going to start? And
that's a great question. Where am I going to start? Well, first of all, the thing is to get the right goals in place. And those goals are the big ones. So the ones that really excite you. So how do you know if it's the goal for you? So if you're intellectually saying to yourself, yes, that's a very good goal. Yes, I can do that. I'd love to do that. That's not the goal for you. But if it's a goal where your tummy feels like it's turning upside down and you're just so excited at the thought and you're just like, oh my goodness, can I do that? Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? If you've got that big feeling going on, that is the juice that is going to get that to happen, because you have a whole year in which to make these amazing things happen, and you're going to have to wake up every single day, so it's got to be the right goal.
So you have to feed it in the beginning particularly, so that you get used to the thought.
That's it, and just see it, just see yourself doing it, and let go of that old picture. It might be something like, well, I'm someone who is a little bit overweight, or I'm someone who gets by with money. You know, you don't have to be that person anymore. You can get really excited about being a completely new person.
So what happens then when you've got this dream going and you don't quite know where to start? Does it all happen by itself, or how do you proceed?
This is where you have to take action. Now, a lot of people know about the phrase taking massive action, doing a lot of things, throwing a lot of activity at it. At the same time, you've got to make sure that that activity is the right activity. Exactly. So you might have someone who says, I'm going to start my own internet company. And so they go and they buy 20 different domain names. And then they spend so much energy telling everyone about their great plan. And very little gets done. Whereas what you want to do is you want to say, right, what's the most efficient way to make this happen, and how can I have the most fun? Let me have just one coach that I work with to make sure that every single week I'm hitting those weekly goals, those weekly deadlines that I set for myself. And at the same time, how can I make sure that I'm getting results? So I just keep an eye on it to see that it's not just activity, that things are actually happening. So that's it. You just got to keep a little eye on it and just be sensible and don't get too carried away. And the big mistake, as I mentioned, is a lot of people spend too much energy just talking about it.
Yes, that's the easy part.
That's it, and they use all their excitement up on that. So instead, you know, tell one person, I'm doing this and I want you to hold me accountable. So next week I want you to ask me what I did.
That's a good one, because then you can't go back.
You can't go back.
There's going to be someone who's, you know, watching you saying,
That's it.
You know, you said this.
And make sure it's someone who isn't going to let you off the hook. Make sure it's somebody who's going to, you know, if you say, oh, I didn't do it because, you know, the kids had a special thing to go to and then I wasn't feeling too well, you know, this is not the year for excuses. This is the year for making it happen.
Exactly. Well, you are now allowed to ask a question to our next guest. It's our personal trainer. So, question for Alexander.
So, Alexander, my question for you is, outside of the whole sort of realm of the physical body, what is your big, amazing goal that you absolutely know that you're going to make happen this year?
Thank you. And thank you very much for coming, sharing with us here, Judymay.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Og hvis du vil ha med deg mer inspirasjon fra Judymay, så det mulig på onsdag. Storsalen i Oslo, få det med deg og lykke til.